U.S. Soccer Federation, and Wilson Trophy Company.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft. The first Monopoly board game went on sale. Social Security began. And Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career, to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups, that kind of emulate the McGuire Cup.
Winning the McGuire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period. That's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied McGuire Cup?
This tournament, it's great competition. I mean, you just have to work. All these teams belong here. All these teams work to get here.
So the competition was fantastic from start to finish, and when you get to play in a facility like this, it makes it even more worthwhile traveling the 6.5 hours to get here.
We sacrificed a lot, time, and like our summer. So I really think that if we keep with that, we'll be on pace for a great time at Nationals.
Just an overall great performance. Came out in the second half, was able to close it out and get that regional victory that we wanted.
Benefits of this level are huge. The college exposures, second to none for these guys. They're all able to get recruited and achieve the goals that they want to when they set out to actually sign up to play club sports and make a team. They're able to get those opportunities.
I think having something to play for is a real benefit to these girls, not just showcases, it's competition. Everyone wants to win. You play competitive sports because you want to win.
this is the top league in the country, all the best teams, the best competition, and that's what you want for your kids. You know, you want them to work hard and achieve success against the best, so it should be exciting.
Boy, they were tough. They were a tough team, and they had a lot of speed. And so we weren't ready for that, and they kept fighting and kept fighting and kept fighting. We made a few mistakes in the back, and then they came back and tied it up, you know, with 7-8 minutes left in the game. But it was a battle. They are a very strong, competitive team. It's a sweet victory because they really deserve it. The girls were tired. They were weak, and they dug really deep. They really did. They really, really fought for it.
Everyone wants it so bad that we all get better from each other. No matter the win or the loss, we all want it. It's the best feeling. I've dreamed about this for a long time. It's so exciting to be here.
Very tough game. We had to go into extra time to decide the champion, and our boys stuck it to the end, and were able to come out with a victory today.
It's just an amazing feeling knowing you scored the winning goal for the team. We worked so hard for this, and we all deserve this.
Regionals is where you find the best state champions come and they give you a run for your money.
I think soccer in a whole creates a family. The bake sales, the car washes, the raising of money, it brings all of us together, and we are one, and on to nationals.
US Youth Soccer has impacted my life by taking over, and I mean, it's been a very good experience. A lot of life skills and lessons and how to take on certain things, and it's really made a big impact on my life.
Hey, everybody here was amazing.
Against some amazing girls, and I just think it was awesome.
It's really great to see my team pull together to really work hard.
Being a regional champion is amazing. It's a once in a lifetime type of opportunity for these guys, for myself.
I'm really excited for these girls with this confidence to go to nationals and just test ourselves against great competition. We're going to nationals!
My name is Tony McManus. We are the 01 Lady Lobos Rush out of Memphis, Tennessee. You know, we were here in the finals last year. Unfortunately, did not finish it out, but that gave us a little bit of motivation going into this year.
It's been crazy, and it's just been like really hard because everybody here is so good, and everybody is good because they win their state cup, and so there are other ways to get in, and so it's been really difficult. But we pushed through it, and we were able to come out on top.
For us, it's a little difficult because we work with a lot of underprivileged kids, kids that can't afford to really play at
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shields Overland Park Soccer Complex here in Overland Park, Kansas, site of the 2019 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. I'm Todd Panula, and I'm here to bring you all of today's exciting 15 and under girls action as it's Utah Celtic FC out of Orem, Utah, against Sporting St. Louis out of St. Louis, Missouri. Your starting lineups for Utah, it's going to be Sierra Pennick, Kennedy Dibb, Piper Vance, Ellie Traggy, Cameron Jorgensen, Ellie Young, Molly Wakefield, and in between the pipes, it's going to be Brooklyn Northcutt. For Sporting St. Louis, it's going to be Brooke Kittner, Ava Blum, Megan Belrose, Addison Weiskopf, Camille Welker, Giovanna Starman, Emily Passini, Nina Prusser, Maggie Illig, Madison Hendershot, and in between the pipes, it's Mara Giesler. So we're underway here in the second match of the day, first match for both of these two teams. Utah Celtic in the all-whites, countered by the black of Sporting St. Louis. Sporting St. Louis probably a little bit happy that this year's contest not down in Frisco, where the last few years it has been the host, and we have pretty much roasted every single year, and black would not be the color that you would want to wear, but St. Louis much more comfortable here in their Midwestern home, about 3 hours, 4 hours away. St. Louis was in the midst of a heat wave, temperatures in the upper 90s and triple-digit heat indices. But over here we've got really pleasant temperatures and not expected to get out of the 80s until maybe the end of the week. We'll let you know how these two teams got to this point in the tournament as we progress through. Had a couple hard fouls here in the early going. One for each team, the official kind of laying the groundwork. Ball skidding up the sideline. Utah trying to serve one in. Sporting trying to clear their lines. Into touch. That'll favor Utah Celtic. We hope you're enjoying the tournament so far. We've only had a couple games, so this is game number 2 of the day. First game of the tournament for both of these teams. Had a very entertaining game in our first match on this field. It was a 15 and under girls game in the other group. Between Philadelphia and Boise, ended up in a 3-3 draw. Boise had a 2-0 lead. Philadelphia came back, tied it up. Boise took the lead with a 3-2 scoreline. And then Philadelphia would score in stoppage time. Very close to a handball there against Ellie Young. Referee not even attempting to put the whistle to his lips. Thorne trying to push it up towards the corner flag. Young calling for it, gets it. Trying to spin around the defender. Right on her back is Weiskopf. Instead, they lay it on for Tragedy. Young clattered into from behind, no foul. Young a little bit slow to get up. Sporting trying to get it out of their defensive end. Goes all the way back to midfield. Picked up there by Dibb. Dibb puts it through the center circle towards the left wing. That draws some cheers from the Celtic bench. Pennock, a little bit slow in her decision making. Goes up to the left wing this time. Cut back towards the middle, stepped into by Hendershot. Doesn't quite get into touch on that first attempt. Second attempt will play it out. Coming to you live from the Shields Soccer Complex here in Overland Park. Good long throw in, gets towards the box. Now a long shot coming in. Might have been a cross. Nevertheless, it wasn't cleanly dealt with, as there was a player right in front there. You see this one come screaming across. And Young was right there, but she couldn't quite get to it as she was kind of turned around. Ended up going off the defender, though, and out for a corner kick. Right footer towards the edge of the box. Nobody really there in white. Now a low-driven shot by Tragedy, gets blocked easily. Hughes sends it on back. Celtic pushing the reset button, trying to find a little bit of space, draw the defenders out a little bit. Kiesler goes short with the goal kick. Possession given away. Celtic going over the top, but that was too tall for everybody. Intended that one for Pennock. Sporting able to clear, too tall for Kittner. Picked up here on the near sideline. Stepping into it was Illig, and that will favor Celtic. Just slipped underneath the cleats of Young. Lobbing one up for Illig. She felt the pressure coming. Puts it back. Near sideline now for Blum. Ava Blum with a little bit of space. Pushes one up the left sideline for Kittner. She's got to chase it down now after a touch evaded her. Kittner puts it on the right foot. That one blasted off of Illig and out. Bit of a goal kick. 9th minute of play here, scoreless. Want to re-thank all our sponsors, some of which you can see listed around the field. Got a good shot of that MLS flag in behind the goal. Sporting Kansas City doesn't play too far from here. Sporting Kansas City's been having a little bit of a rough go of it in the MLS season, but their namesake, Sporting St. Louis, pushing in on the attack. Coming here on the left wing is Kittner. Left-footed cross back towards the edge of the box, ends up finding no one. Comes all the way back out towards midfield. Stepped into by Hendershot. Slides around one defender. Kittner with it now. Low cross towards that arc on top of the circle. Left-footed shot, but curling away from goal. Northcutt looking for options. That one out just to the left of our broadcast position. Put back into play by Tragedy. Tragedy again, Bit too strong for her. Sporting will have the throw. Coming up, Weiskopf trying to find a teammate in black. Awkwardly off the left leg of Illig. And possession given away. In for Young. She spins around. Serves one up through midfield, but couldn't be chased down. Vance was there. Was trying to get to it. Just didn't quite have enough steam on it to get all the way there. Pennock. Looking for Young. Weiskopf. Forced to just play it out. Was hoping for a touch off the attacking player, but none to be had. Thirteenth minute of play, no score. Both teams kind of pushing forward a little bit, but really haven't created a solid scoring opportunity as of yet. Celtic definitely with the higher percentage of possession so far. Nice little drag move by Pennock, peeling it back towards the middle of the pitch. Quick passing here from Celtic as they find a little bit of space on the far side. Vance with a defender down in front of her, couldn't take advantage of it. Kept alive by Roberts. Into touch. Celtic will have it. Flicked into the box, but Sporting able to clear it away. A little bit of a collision just outside there. Now a dangerous cross. That one just slid past the face of goal. Wasn't cleanly dealt with there by Giesler. She seemed a little bit unsure of where that one was going to end up. Good left-footed ball, putting that one towards goal. You kind of see the end of it there as Giesler came out to deal with it. And I think she was kind of in between decisions as to whether she should try to make a grab or just poke it away with a foot. Fortunately for her, it didn't end up touching off of her, and it went out for a harmless goal kick. Kittner a little bit frustrated there as pressure came over the top from the taller Traggy. But she did end up getting the throw for Sporting. Traggy plays it off the forehead again, once again surrendering a throw in. Kept in alive, and apparently not. Near side assistant put the flag up. Off the shoulder of Weiskopf. That springs an attack though for Young. Young pushing up for Celtic, looking for green space in front. Pushes past the defender. Young cuts it back across. Too many defenders there for Sporting, but still in favor of Celtic. And then the long shot was a bit ambitious. as it ends up sailing over the target. Nevertheless, good pressure being put on by Celtic. Sporting getting a little bit antsy there, giving away possession again. Coaching staff of the Red Devils not too happy with it. Young had it poached away. Spilling over the near side touchline was Kennedy Dibb. Couldn't keep that one in play. Here's Weiskopf. Kittner looking for a return pass. Goes for Illig. Back outside for Kittner. Defender coming in. Shoulders Kittner. And the corner give it up. Much to the unhappiness of Dibb, as she said that nobody touched it for Celtic. The official disagreed. Corner kick opportunity here for Sporting St. Louis. Played towards that near post. Defender comes out awkwardly off the shins of Tragedy. Another corner kick given up. So another opportunity for Presser. Nina Presser. Going to put a right foot into it. It's a little more behind this one. Once again, too close to goal, off the fingertips, and they put it in! Sporting opens up the scoring in the 18th minute of play. Sporting St. Louis have found themselves kind of behind the ball the entire first half so far. We're not quite halfway through. So Camille Welker with the first goal of the game coming in the 18th minute. Celtic now finds themselves behind despite having the majority of the possession in this match so far, but that's the danger of set pieces. So you see the corner kick taken. It went off the fingertips of the goalkeeper. Welker was right there with a smart header in great position. Defenders caught a little bit flat-footed, nothing they could really do. Off the forehead of Hughes. Not cleared away by Pennock. Sporting with it. Welker already with one goal. Looking to put some more pressure towards net. Kind of lost her footing a little bit in the process. Now Sporting playing a little bit of catch-up. Picked up by Hendershot. Hendershot up the wing. A little too close to the sideline. Hasn't run out yet, though. And doesn't look like it will. Finally, it goes over. Kept in by Kittner. Tragedy is right there. Tragedy took a little bit of a clip from behind. That was enough to gain the whistle. Substitution about to come in for Sporting is Quinn Conroy going to come into the game, replacing Nina Presser. Throw in still favors Celtic. They're trying to get their feet back underneath them. It's been a lot of Sporting here since that goal was scored. Illig jumped into that one. Pressure being put on from the far side, almost a steal there. Illig goes for the far post and a diving stab to palm it away by Northcutt. That one was going to be very close to going inside that far post. As you see, kind of a giveaway lapse on the defensive end. Illig going towards that far post from the camera angle. Looks like it might have gone in. It was curling just a bit, so it would have been close to that post. But coming out of nowhere was Northcutt to palm it away. Substitution made. Once again, Conroy coming in. Sporting really in charge of this one. Once they got that goal, they've really managed to get a lot of momentum in behind them. Illig was able to play it off the defender, so another corner kick coming up. Illig going to put this one back in now that Presser's on the bench. Another right-footed opportunity here, so it'll swing away from goal. We'll see if anybody can get a header onto it. They go low on a line drive kick, easily dealt with by the defender there at the near post. Utah trying to catch Sporting with only one defender back. Celtic pushing up onto the attack. They come over here to the near side. Young with a little bit of space, but she can't get that ball to settle down. Weiskopf. Young just over the top of goal. Not a bad idea to take a shot from there. You'd like to see that one stay down just a little bit. Trouble the goalkeeper perhaps, but you see right there, Young just couldn't quite settle it down. It kept kind of bouncing up into her shins. She took the shot anyway, got a little bit of it on the instep, didn't quite strike it true with the shoelaces. And I think if she had managed to really point that toe downward, that would have been a little more troublesome for Geisler. Tragedy. Crosses one in. Now a shot opportunity. That one was blocked. Dried up rather quickly. Kittner had it roll over the top of her foot. And Celtic once again in possession. 24th minute of play here at Shields Soccer Complex in Overland Park. Field number 2. Young trying to cut it back across the grain. Defender able to dive in and push it away. Tragedy had it pilfered away. Sporting trying to counter. Pushed up by Conroy. Pressing even further now is Welker. Serving one back for Illig. Tried to play it forward. Illig score! She got the touch around the goalkeeper and slots it home. It's 2-0 in favor of Sporting St. Louis. So for the second game in a row, a team has taken a 2-0 lead. We'll see if Sporting can hold on to it. Boise in this morning's contest was unable to. So Illig with the deft finish puts her team up 2-0. Just a little bit in behind the defender. Was able to finish that one off. Goalkeeper didn't stand too much of a chance. It's been kind of the story of the game so far for Celtic. The shots themselves, there wasn't really too much Celtic could do. It's been kind of the build-up to where their play was a little bit lacking. As you see, just one touch around the defender, and then Illig one times the shot past the sliding goalkeeper, and she was clinical. So Sporting with a seemingly commanding lead. but all it takes is one to switch the momentum back the other way. Sporting definitely not going to go into a defensive shell, but they already started off the game in a very good defensive posture. So you have to figure having a 2-0 lead is really going to make things difficult against Celtic. Utah about to put in a couple substitutions of their own, try to change up their look a little bit. Sporting building from the back off the goal kick. They have yet to actually boot one out, trying to keep possession. Celtic going to make their substitutions. Coming into the game is going to be Addison Larson and Soraya Brady. They are going to replace Young and Hughes. As you get a good shot of Larson, who just checked into the game. Substitutions made. And play resumes. Tragedy steps into that one. Larson with her first touch was very brief, goes off the defender and out. Cutting it back, left-footed attempt. That one skipping towards goal. Geisler able to make the easy grab. From our broadcast position, it looked like it might have been troublesome for a moment as it was kind of bouncing towards the defender, and then she stepped out of the way. Counterattack on for Sporting as they push forward on the left. Kittner played it off the head of Tragi. She dives at this one. It'll be a throw-in. One more substitution coming in, this time for Sporting St. Louis. Julia Laguori. Will be the one to come into the game. They'll do it on the next opportunity. Whistles coming from all around, but not on this field. Now we'll make the change. Another throw-in coming up for Sporting as Weiskopf picks it up. So Kittner will get a breather before halftime. About 11 minutes or so away from that. Screaming for that one was Northcutt. Very calm day here weather-wise. Temperatures probably in the 70s by now. Supposed to be in the low 80s for a high, so very comfortable for everybody. It's interesting how things work out weather-wise. Here's a good slotted ball. They were trying to get that one up top to Jorgensen, but just a bit too much mustard on that one. But talking about the weather, they spread out the games here for this year's tournament. Normally you had 4 games per day, and that 1 o'clock kickoff was always struggling with the heat in the last few years when it's been in Frisco, Texas. Now we move a little bit northward, and oftentimes the Midwest is no more forgiving in terms of temperatures or humidity, but we're expected to get some good weather here. And now it makes it more interesting that we're going to have some nighttime contests, and the temperatures might actually cool off to where you might have to have long sleeves. Trying to lob one over the top, but nobody really there. Illig kind of takes a stab at it, pulls it down with the left foot, and then too far underneath with the shot. She had a little bit of space in front if she wanted to take advantage of it. Instead, just kind of sent that one blindly towards goal. Both teams going to make substitutions here. Coming in for Celtic is Abby Houston, and checking in for Sporting St. Louis is going to be Kate Adler. Taking a seat is Mary Roberts for Celtic, and out is Giovanna Starman for Sporting. So very similarly to our first half, it's been one team in control of the majority in terms of the overall play. Things have evened up here in the last 10 minutes or so, but the first stages of the game, it was Celtic in complete control of possession. They couldn't really generate any chances off of that. And against the run of play, Sporting would get a goal in the 18th minute as Camille Welker was able to head that one in, and then in the 25th minute, Maggie Illig was able to push one past the defender and then slot it home for our current scoreline of 2-0. Don't want to keep mentioning it too much, but pays to remember that in our morning contest on the other group, Boise Thorns had a 2-0 lead and saw that evaporate, and the game ended 3-3. Sporting going to have to really keep their focus throughout this contest if they want to pull home 3 points. Now here comes Celtic up the left wing, cutting back in front. The shot, not sure if their studs got caught up in the turf or she thought she didn't have enough time. But not the shot I think that Piper Vance would have liked to take on that one. Ended up as just a slow roller towards goal as we get a bit of a cheap foul called in the midfield against Ellie Traggy. Sporting going to make another substitution at the next opportune time. Coming into the game, it's going to be Julie Steiger. Also checking into the game will be Ashlyn Smith. Pilfered away at the very last moment. Looking for help here. Tragedy able to be a little bit of a release valve. Gets it up top to Larson. Gets it around one defender. Keeps it in on the touchline. Space in front now. Larson puts it towards the end of the 18. Opportunity here. Slid across the face of goal. They score! The flag is up. It will not count. Hard to tell who was the offending player in the offside position, but it does not matter as the scoreline will remain 2-0. Sporting will make their substitutions. But that is a deflating change of events there for Celtic, as they thought that they were going to have a goal that was going to cut the lead in half. And instead, it's just a free kick coming up for Sporting. So a sigh of relief for Geisler. Awkwardly off the left foot. won't stay in. It'll be a throw in for Celtic. Brought down a little bit heavily there by Pennock, and then she was taken down. Tragedy all the way back. Northcutt left foots it. Celtic, one touch passing. So a bit of a respite. It's a Utah, somewhat bailed out there by the linesman, somewhat shielded. Did look like it went fully out. Would have been a throw in for Sporting. Instead, it went the other way. But that's kind of one of those plays that doesn't truly affect anybody. Celtic looking for the left foot. Pennock spun around. The ball ends up easily claimed, rolling towards goal. So we see the opportunity. Pennock kind of went it off her heel, dove towards it, but the ball was just a bit too far away. Couldn't get much power behind it. Another shot rolls in on goal as another player goes down as well in your screen. Celtic continually hitting the ground here. Not sure if they're just colliding accidentally or what's going on. But a counter opportunity here for Sporting. That play was just a bit too far in behind, served up by Liguori. She gets the return ball as it comes out here to the left. Liguori pushing towards the end line, step over move, puts it back on the right foot, drives it across goal. The defender was in front though. Settled down, brought now for Belrose. She had her pocket picked and off the other way. Larson from the midfield, back through the center of the pitch. Pennock. Just about 2 minutes left. 90 seconds if you go by our clock. Tragedy eating up the space. She had Larson along the wing, goes center instead. Stepping back towards the left foot. Ford wanted to take the shot, not to be had. Pennock, left footer, deflected by the defender and out. No indication yet of how much stoppage time. You saw that one just sail wide off the defender, but those are nervy moments. You never really know where it's going to go. Headed just past goal, once again off a Sporting player, so it should be another corner kick. So we'll do it all over again from the far side. So at least 1 minute of stoppage time will be added on to the end of this one. Calling for the goal kick. Took a couple deflections there, so good work by the assistant to see who that went off of last. The full 40 played, and now we enter the first minute of stoppage time of at least 1 minute. Sporting trying to retain this 2-0 lead into the break. Geisler lobbed it back over the top, but that's going to have too much on it. Goes out, Tragedy wanting to put it right back in. Stepping into it quickly was Steiger. About 20 seconds left if they play exactly 1 minute. Loose in the box, and that one didn't miss by much. A good hot shot. Looked like it might have gone off the foot of Ford. But it ended up over the goal. See it come in. Good quick passing here from Celtic. That has not been the problem throughout this game. A miscue there by the defender, and it was Ford who ended up putting it over. So we've hit the halftime. 40 minutes in the books. And right now it's a seemingly commanding lead for Sporting St. Louis. 2-0 to score off an 18th minute goal from Camille Welker. Doubled up with a 25th minute goal from Maggie Illig. 2-0 your score at the break, and we will take a break. We'll be back in just a little bit. More from the Shields Soccer Complex here in Overland Park, site of the 2019 USU Soccer National Championships, after this. Coaches, U.S. Soccer Federation, and Wilson Trophy Company.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935. Offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups that kind of emulate the McGuire Cup.
Winning the McGuire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period, that's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied McGuire Cup?
This tournament, it's great competition. I mean, you just have to work. All these teams belong here. All these teams work to get here.
So the competition was fantastic from start to finish, and when you get to play in a facility like this, it makes it even more worthwhile traveling the 6.5 hours to get here.
We sacrificed a lot, time, and like our summer. So I really think that if we keep with that, we'll be on pace for a great time at nationals.
Just an overall great performance. Came out in the second half, was able to close it out and get that regional victory that we wanted.
Benefits of this level are huge. The college exposures, second to none for these guys. They're all able to get recruited and achieve the goals that they want to when they set out to actually sign up to play club sports and make a team. They're able to get those opportunities.
I think having something to play for is a real benefit to these girls, not just showcases, it's competition. Everyone wants to win. You play competitive sports because you want to win.
Well, this is the top league in the country, all the best teams, the best competition, and that's what you want for your kids. You know, you want them to work hard and achieve success against the best, so it should be exciting.
Boy, they were tough. They were a tough team, and they had a lot of speed. And so we weren't ready for that, and they kept fighting and kept fighting and kept fighting. We made a few mistakes in the back, and then they came back and tied it up, you know, with 7-8 minutes left in the game. But it was a battle. They are a very strong, competitive team. It's a sweet victory because they really deserve it. The girls were tired, they were weak, and they dug really deep. They really did. They really fought for it.
Everyone wants it so bad that we all get better from each other. No matter the win or the loss, we all want it. It's the best feeling. I've dreamed about this for a long time. It's so exciting to be here.
Very tough game. We had to go into extra time to decide the champion, and our boys stuck it to the end, and were able to come out with a victory today.
It's just an amazing feeling knowing you scored the winning goal for the team. We worked so hard for this, and we all deserve this.
Regionals is where you find the best state champions come and they give you a run for your money.
I think soccer in a whole creates a family. The bake sales, the car washes, the raising of money, it brings all of us together, and we are one, and on to nationals.
Welcome back to the Shields Soccer Complex here in Overland Park, Kansas. Just about set for second half action between Utah Celtic and Sporting St. Louis. Sporting St. Louis with a 2-0 lead at the break. We'll see what kind of adjustments Coach Pennock has made for his team out of Orem, Utah. For Sporting St. Louis, you can't imagine you'd want to change up too much. Obviously, the focus will be slightly more on the defensive end, but Sporting, to open up the contest, was in a really solid defensive position to begin with, so they shouldn't feel fortunate to come up with 2 goals because they really earned both of those, but they already kind of set up in a defensive mindset. So it's really not as though they need to change their game plan all that much. You just kind of have to see out these last 40 minutes. If you're Utah, you've got to eventually open things up a little bit, press more onto the attack, which is not to say that that wasn't their goal to begin with, as they had a lot of possession in that first half. But they couldn't really create a whole lot off of it. So we'll see whether or not any kind of spaces open up for counterattacks for Sporting if Utah Celtic has to open things up just a little bit. Good defensive play there to steal that one away. Second attempt here for Jorgensen. Stolen once again. Stepping in is Adler. Jorgensen again, a little bit more space in front this time. Jorgensen lays it off as it's filtered on through to Vance. Tried to give it back for Pennock. She goes to ground. Once again, she's not really being fouled. I don't think she's even attempting to draw a foul. It just seems like at the worst possible moments, her footing kind of betrays her. They tried to slide that one through to Jorgensen as they collide with that MLS flag over there on the far side. Ultimately, it's going to be a goal kick coming up for Sporting. Caught up in that ditch over there. Kind of a collection area. Must have had a little bit too much water in it based on the reaction of Geisler. Wakefield off the throw. Flicked along. Roberts trying to get underneath it. Bounded away from her. Hughes. Wakefield calling for it, but it was a Sporting player in between. Dibb. Hands it off. Wanted a return pass, but they went forward instead. Hughes keeps Celtic in possession. Here's Dibb. Space on the left now. Sliding one through to Jorgensen. Took a hit on the shin. Went to the right instead. From the broadcast position, looked like she might have had a shooting lane and went for the pass. But she had a different vantage point, so perhaps the defender was too much in the way. And pushing up once again. Ford. Here's Pennock, putting it onto the left foot. Bouncing around, won't settle down. Left-footed shot. Getting down to cover that one with Geisler. Geisler hasn't been tested too much in this game, but she's been very solid. Well positioned. Made a couple good saves like the one we just saw. That's into touch. Wakefield puts it in. Left alone by Vance. She plays it off the defender, and it's going to be a corner. So a rare set piece coming up here for Utah Celtic. Solid right foot going towards that near post, sent away. Second attempt was pushed even further out by Sporting. Still haven't cleared the danger completely. Pennock puts it towards the end line. Defender stepped into her, and it's going to be a goal kick. Giesler taking her time here, well within her rights. Nothing too egregious. Intercepted in the air, though, by Hughes. She wanted to get that one onto Vance. Vance with another opportunity, but spinning the other way was Steiger. Taken away by Celtic. Putting one out in front. That one went awkwardly off of Steiger. It's going to go out for the corner. Coach Pennock making his case that that was a handball. Here's Tragedy to the right. Not a lot of space available here for Celtic. Tragedy one time gets way underneath that one. Defender puts it right back in. Jorgensen's shot was blocked. A chance for Wakefield with the instep. Needed to put her shoelaces through that one. Instead, she hit it off the inside of the shoe. But Celtic starting to press here a little bit, starting to get it up into the offensive end. Counterattack opportunity here for Sporting. That went by the wayside, at least for the moment. Good battle over on the far side. Still nobody with possession, and now a shove. Official right in the space, though, making sure that that didn't escalate. And now he's calling them back. So an equal admonishing for both teams. Good officiating there, just bringing everybody in, letting him know that they had a good battle and that tempers needed to not get so high. Substitution coming up for Sporting St. Louis is going to be Addison Weisskopf. She'll come back into the game after an extended rest. And she will replace Julie Steiger. Back and forth, neither team in solid possession. It's going to be a throw-in favoring Sporting. Not too much possession for Sporting here in the second half. Very similarly to the first half, but they didn't need much possession to get 2 goals. You see that last dangerous chance there. Stepping into it was Wakefield, and the hips just kind of went in the wrong direction. You could see, I think she was kind of in between 2 decisions. She wanted to take the shot, and then I think she saw a teammate running up the far wing at the last moment, and that just threw her off her decision-making a little bit. Wasn't able to get a good shot in behind that one. Hopefully you're enjoying today's contest, whether you're watching from out west, Orem, Utah, all points surrounding, or right here in the Midwest in the St. Louis area. A lot of St. Louis teams represented here in this national tournament in various age groups. couple Lou Fuse teams, 3 or 4 St. Louis Scott Gallagher teams, and obviously Sporting St. Louis representing that area as well. Sporting won the Midwest Regional. That's how they punched their ticket to get to this point, as they beat Waukesha 1-0 in the Midwest Regional. Headed into a dangerous spot. Tough to deal with there, but Ford was able to do so. And that one, fortunately for her, went off of one of the attacking players, so it will be a goal kick. Coming back into the game for Sporting St. Louis is going to be Megan Belrose. And she replaces Ashlyn Smith. Utah Celtic not used to trailing. This would be the first time in quite some time that they have not picked up any points, should the scoreline remain the same. It's Utah Celtic were National League Black champs with a record of 3-0-2, 3 wins and 2 draws. And then they won the Far West Regional, beating the Boise Thorns, a potential future opponent, depending on what goes on in that other group. But Utah Celtic won on penalty kicks, giving the game a final score of 3-2. (2-0) still your score, as it has been since the 25th minute of play. Now entering the 52nd minute. Bit of a misjudgment there by Sporting. Now space coming up. Young pushes it out with the right foot. Crossed in. Too close to the goalkeeper. Giesler able to range out to her right and smother that one. A good build-up for Celtic, as you see a little bit of space on the right. The one-time cross. They had a player in behind the defenders there, but it was going to be difficult to get that to the attacking player, as there was not too much space really available to cut that one back across and keep it away from Giesler. The free kick favors Celtic. Ford will put it into play with the left foot. Here's Hughes. Stepping into her was Presser. That one goes into touch. Celtic will have the throw. Celtic continually having opportunities. Can't make too much of it yet. Back the other way, and here we go. Space opened up now on the counter. Belrose had a lot of steam in behind her. But good defending there to catch up for Celtic. Pushing up on the attack now is Jorgensen. She crosses the midfield stripe. Now look at the space in front. Jorgensen on the right foot. Defender on her left. Cuts it back to that left foot. Takes the shot back towards the far post. And she kind of scuffed it on the way. Pinnock puts it on the right foot, just over the shoulder of Roberts. Hughes brought it down, but Presser with the steal. Once again, that back four just really solid right now for Sporting St. Louis. They're under pressure. Celtic has found a crack here or there. But so far, it hasn't been anything to damage their foundation. Gelling sets it up, sending it to the far wing. A pass back through the middle, brought down by Belrose, but not under control. Vance spun around. Quick touch to get around the defender, and here comes Sporting. Too hot to handle for Illig. This one's going to roll all the way into the box. 55th minute of play. As Northcutt puts it right up the middle. Hughes. On for Jorgensen. Hughes switches the point of attack. Tragedy on the far side. Calling for a return pass that never came. Lobbing one up. Tragedy making the run this time up the sideline. Puts it towards the middle. Here comes Vance. Spun around. The official is there. No foul coming. Incidental contact, apparently. Ford pushing the reset button. Up the sideline, flag stays down. Jorgensen slots it back out in front. Pennick with the left footer, out in front, score! Celtic finds themselves back into it in the 56th minute of play. You see the ball coming in. Pennick served it across. Might have gone off the defender, but Young going to take credit for it. Doesn't really matter if you're a fan of Utah Celtic. All that matters is you don't have that big round number on the board anymore. So a goal from L. Young in the 56th minute has cut this lead in half. And now it's game on. Sporting trying to push it back out to a 2-goal difference. On the attack, Illig played it off the defender, and they will gain a corner kick. Credit to Celtic, though. They had so much of the possession, they just needed to find that one ball that would get in behind. Sometimes you're better at being lucky than good. A little bit of both in that scenario. Good positioning led to that goal on a second effort. Sporting towards the near post. Defender actually headed that one out. Went kind of awkwardly as she kind of thrusted her head backward. You get your body into that kind of position, you're not quite as sure as to where that one will end up. A little bit of a lump in the throat of some of the Celtic fans watching at home. Presser going to take the corner from the near side. Another right-footed. Line drive kick towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Left footer. Not too much behind that one from Belrose. Welker set it back up. Spills over to the far side. And another corner kick coming up. So Sporting picking up the pieces after allowing a goal. Really threatening the Celtic net right now.
Get the ball up, Nina. Brooke, go get this.
Coach Kittner wanting a little more air underneath that one. Got just what he wanted. A decent attempt towards goal by Conroy as she got a header onto it. But wasn't able to really steer it downward, which is more the direction that she needed. Bit of a cheeky move there on the defensive end coming up from Celtic, but they push all the way forward as Hughes tried to set it up. She was looking for Vance. The ball apparently stayed in play the entire time. Everybody kind of slackened off there, thinking that had gone over the touchline. Ends up being a foul against Celtic. It'll give the ball back to Sporting. About to check into the game is going to be Ava Blum. Kind of a Bronx cheer coming from the Celtic bench as they felt they might have had an advantage, but a quick restart still favors them. Jorgensen up the wing, wants to put it back out in front. Young is there. Can't get the shot off, though. The ball wouldn't settle down as it slid past her. Now the counter is on for Sporting St. Louis. Breaking up the wing is Belrose. She puts on the brakes and looks for a little bit of help. Numbers now pushing forward a little bit more in black, but still outnumbered about 5-3. And an awkward fall towards the back line. I believe that might be Hughes down on the pitch. Shot taken, and they score! Sneaking it just inside the near post from the shot advantage. Sporting St. Louis has regained a 2-goal lead. Celtic felt a little hard done by that decision of the official, but they never really gained possession. Play continued with a Sporting player down, or excuse me, a Celtic player down. And Sporting taking advantage of it as they work the ball over to the far sideline. As you see the player down right in the middle of your shot. But an excellent chance there, and finished off just sliding that one inside that near post. As Kittner able to finish that one off and make this one 3-1. The goal coming in the 61st minute makes this one a 2-goal difference once again as they continue to check on the injured player for Utah Celtic. So recapping your scoreline, Camille Welker scored on a head ball goal in the 18th minute to make it 1-0 Sporting. The lead was doubled with a nice touch around the defender and then a good finish from Maggie Illig in the 25th minute to make that one 2-0. Here in the second half, Ellie Young would finish off a little diving stab as they just slid it past the goalkeeper in the 56th minute. But the 1-goal difference would not last very long as Brooke Kittner was able to just put it inside the near post from her vantage point. Push it back to a 2-goal difference and a 3-1 score. So it was, in fact, Ellie Ford who was the injured player for Celtic. She has come over here towards the near side to get checked out, and she landed rather awkwardly, but now here's Jorgensen, right-footed, but she lost her footing. The plant foot wouldn't stay, and the shot just kind of went awry. Substitution readying to come in for Utah Celtic. About to check into the game is Abby Houston as she comes into the game, replacing the injured Ford. Ford seems like she's all right, but going through the protocols. Safety first. Sporting walking the tightrope of the sideline along the far wing, able to keep it in with some quality passing in tight quarters. Spinning away from pressure is Kittner, able to cut it back onto her right foot. A crossing attempt was thwarted, kept alive briefly by Belrose. Comes back through the middle. Sporting in control though. To the near side for Welker. One-touch pass finds Belrose. She continues it through into the middle. Nobody there in black. Young on the counter. Guarding her closely is Pacini. Sporting able to steal that one away. Trying to get back onto the attacking side rather quickly. Still time for Celtic to come back in this one, but time a precious commodity. There's roughly a little less than 15 minutes left in regulation. Onto the foot of Hendershot. Hendershot comes all the way back on her own side of midfield with the pass. Free kick just north of the half line. Ends up finding the wrong teammate. Hopped over there. Here comes Belrose. She's got a lot of speed. Wakefield almost able to match her. Slotted ball into the box. Taken outside. Back for Belrose. Belrose going to cross this one in through the air. And then a one-time left footer is a bit too hopeful. Northcutt hoping to send that one back into play rather quickly. But Sporting doing a very good job in this game of getting back. They take their attacking chances, and as soon as they see those dry up, they're not walking back into position. Bodies colliding everywhere here. Jorgensen coming away with possession. Jorgensen looking for the return pass. It ends up getting to her after a couple touches through the midfield. Young wanted it back. Stepping into it was Welker. She's able to knock it away. That's stolen into midfield, but Sporting will have the throw. Substitutions about to come in now for Utah Celtic. Checking into the game will be Addison Larson. She's going to replace Ellie Young, the lone goal scorer. Also coming into the game is going to be Soraya Brady. As she replaced Mary Roberts. Pennock to Jorgensen. Not too much space, but nudges it around one defender. Looking back in towards the middle. Left footer into the box. Jorgensen! 3-2! The flag stayed down the entire time. Hands went up, the flag did not. And Jorgensen cuts it back to a one-goal lead. Still time up on the clock for Celtic to climb their way back into this one. They've chipped away a couple times now. Jorgensen just with a lot of time there to kind of eye that one up and find a little bit of space towards that far post. Here comes Wakefield. A lot of space in front now as the defensive shell for Sporting starting to show a few cracks. They've expended a lot of energy in this game. They haven't been overmatched at all. But when you're not with the ball, sometimes that can really wear down the legs. Conroy. Near side for Belrose. Conroy gets it back, but the defender was on her like glue. Jorgensen stepped into it as well. An opportunity for Illig. She saw that go by the wayside. Illig saw that one kind of hop off the thigh. Deflected on the way through, still gets in. Here comes Brady. Larson pumps the brakes just for a moment. But that was enough to allow the Sporting defenders back into position. Finally get another look at this goal here. You see Jorgensen was able to slot that one home. That last defender there looked like she was the one to keep her onside. It was a close call, but I believe the right call to say that she was on there. Tough to tell from that camera angle per se, but I think in the end, it should be viewed as a good goal, a solid goal for Utah Celtic to pull themselves back within one. So the pressure mounts. Celtic. Pennock. Didn't quite get that plant foot settled in before she tried to take that shot. Took a little bit of the power off of it. But Celtic starting to feel themselves back in this contest a little bit. Even after that first goal, it seemed like Sporting was not about to allow this one to slip away. The game's starting to turn a little bit towards the other direction now. Wakefield puts on the pressure. Belrose able to slide it underneath her. Illig, not too much in the way of options. Was able to get up the sideline, but the ball just trickled out. Bit of good fortune there for Celtic, as that one never came in, so they get a rethrow. Wakefield, nicely through. Brady continues it on. Pennock, back to Brady, on her left foot, trying to get it back onto that right. Defender not allowing that. And then nicely poked away as Bloom just stuck in a foot. Coach Kittner looking for the right combination of players to hold on to this lead for Sporting. Coming back into the game now is going to be LaGuarri. Towards the edge of the 18, Pennock failed to get a head onto that one. If she did, it was just a glancing blow. Trying to counterattack here. Sporting pushing up. Conroy kind of taking her time, but here's Illig back for Conroy. Didn't get enough on that one. 73rd minute. 72 and change played in this contest. Well won by Sporting in the midfield. Welker sends it back. Played up from the right back position, looking for Illig. Conroy keeps it alive. Wakefield spun away from pressure. Jorgensen, a little bit of negative body language as she didn't get the pass when she wanted it. And then when they finally tried to get it through, it didn't quite get there. Good step over move by Blum. Illig tightly on Hughes. Illig shoulders off the defender. And it'll be a goal kick. 74th minute, 3-2 your score.
Maggie, just you and Brooke up there, okay? You gotta let her know, though. You gotta go side to side.
Giesler taking her time, putting this one back into play as the substitution was being made. Coming out of the game was Belrose. As mentioned, LaGuarri came into the game. Here comes Celtic, picking up a little bit of speed through the middle of the pitch. Trying to serve one in for Jorgensen. She spins with a left footer, and it just skates wide. She was kind of spun around a little bit, lost her bearings. And that one was going to be a tough chance to put on goal. 75th minute of play. That was actually, might have been Vance to get that opportunity. I want to give credit where credit is due. So you see right in here, into the middle, and spinning, that was Jorgensen. But she just kind of got spun around a little too much. And the left foot didn't seem like it was what she was preferring to do and just kind of had to settle for it. Pennock, one time into the box. Jorgensen, defender dealt with it initially. Jorgensen, and it's just wide. The Celtic bench, they were celebrating. They thought it went in, and from their angle, it was definitely a question mark. But a sigh of relief for the Sporting fans. People over on the far side, a little bit of a better vantage point to tell that one wasn't going in. But nevertheless, some nervy moments for the team out of St. Louis. Holding on to a 1-goal lead with just about 4 minutes left in regulation. Tragedy nudges one to the outside. Back to the middle. Good run coming up here. Celtic in towards the box, struggling to deal with it. Putting it out in front. Larson is there. Larson keeping it alive. And it'll be a corner kick. Substitution about to come in now for Utah Celtic, re-entering the game. Good to see Ellie Ford. So she's been checked out by the proper medical authorities and been cleared to return to the game. A solid center back defender for Utah. Regardless of the outcome in this one, as that one is flicked well wide. Going to be a goal kick. But from a Utah Celtic perspective, they just want to know that they're going to have one of their better defenders in there. Whether it be in this game, which turned out to be the case, or even in the future games coming up over the next couple days. Red Devils against Celtic. Sporting St. Louis represented, as well as Orem, Utah. Sporting the Celtic green badge. All white kits though. Here's Pennock. Up through the middle. Tried to lay that one back. Brady was waiting eagerly to put a shot into it, but the pass just wasn't quite where it needed to be. Pennock had that one popped away. But right now, Sporting definitely looks like they're on their heels. Time taken away. 78 minutes played. So just shy of 2 minutes left in regulation. It'll be quite intriguing to see what they add on for stoppage time in this one. There was an injury, and we've had a couple goals, so you would figure at least a couple minutes. But that remains to be seen. Here's Ford, cutting it back across the green, does so again, steps on it, left foot, right foot, still in possession, finally denied by Illig. And then she played it on the ground and the foul called. Ford eyeing things up. Everybody trying to get into possession, or a position, I should say. Indirect free kick, so it can't go directly in. Played towards the edge of the 18, but not enough Celtic players there to do much damage. Now here's Jolly. First time we've said her name throughout this contest. Ford on the left foot. Defender stepped in and stole it away. Sun climbing higher into the sky as we prepare for our 11 o'clock kickoff, but these two teams don't care much about that. They want to finish this one off. Final minute of regulation, roughly about 30 seconds left. Back over towards the near sideline. Celtic quickly puts it back in. We're going to have 4 minutes of stoppage time added onto this one at least. Tragedy. Just north of the circle and slightly out to the far side. Pennock puts it on the right foot. Nice move to get into space. Taking on all comers. Pennock with a left-footed drive. It got all the way through, and it took a touch on the way as well, so it'll be a corner kick. Pennock going outside, wants to take this one. Remember, 4 minutes of stoppage time going to be added on. We haven't quite played 1 minute of that extra. Pennock going to put a right foot into it. Bounces well short of the near post. Sporting gets it out of the box, but doesn't keep it in possession. Pennock with another opportunity. Stepped into by Welker, but she gives up another corner kick. Could we see another game in this 15 and under girls bracket and 3-3? Celtic is hoping so. Sporting obviously not wanting that to be the case. Ball went over the touch line, the end line I should say, so it'll be a goal kick. Sporting in no great hurry to get it back into play, but not wasting too much time. Illig just kind of blasts that one into the air, headed up towards midfield, but taken there by Houston. Houston takes up the space in front of her and then sends it to Jolly in the middle. All the way back for Dibb. Dibb wanted to go to Jolly, instead went to Pennock, who gave it to Houston. Houston back for Pennock. Pennock spinning away from the defender, finds a little bit of space. Another defender joins her, wants to put that right-footed curler on it. Doesn't quite get it there. Now here's Brady. Brady takes a left-footed shot, wanted to go to that far post, but didn't get a lot of steam in behind it. 83rd minute of play. About 90 seconds remain. Throw in going for Celtic. Utah through the middle. Jolly got it from Pennock to the far side. Close to a handball, but nothing being called. Jolly chasing it down. Houston. Give it away. All the way back now for Northcutt. Northcutt well out of her box, trying to keep any clearance balls back into a dangerous area. Pennock spun around, and Houston fouled just outside the box by about a yard, maybe two. Not too much space between where the official is standing and where that foul was called and the edge of the box. A glorious shot right there. You see about maybe 3 yards at most. But a really dangerous scoring opportunity coming up here. Our early morning game, it was a free kick and confusion in front of the goal that led to the tying goal. Might we see something similar here? Two players around the ball, Ford and Pennock. Pennock would be more of a shot. Ford steps over. Pennock going for glory, and it curled away from target. She wanted to tuck it just inside that post, and it wasn't quite on. We've played our full 4 minutes of stoppage time, so the whistle could come at any moment. And there it is, the ball back into play, but the game is over. Sporting St. Louis holds on in a nail-biter by the final of 3-2. Celtic with a valiant effort coming ever so close in the final moments to a potential tying goal, but it was not to be for them on day number 1. Still plenty of opportunities for them to come in this group, but for today it was Sporting St. Louis coming out the victors. They scored 2 goals in the first half. Welker and Illig scoring in the 18th and 25th minute. It would be answered by a 56-minute goal by Ellie Young as she dove out and was able to poke it just over the touchline and into the goal. Jorgensen would tie it up in the 69th minute and then a 61st minute. So that was actually to cut it back to a 1-goal difference as Kittner scored in the 61st minute. That would end up proving to be the game-winning goal, as that gave them 3 and their 3-2 victory. That will do it for our broadcast here. For everybody here at Turbo Sports Group, we hope you'll join us for the next one. But until the next time, from Shields Soccer Complex here in Overland Park, we bid you good day.